Okay, so the further I get into this, the further I get into it, which basically means I'm making decisions now about changing colors, and part of it again is because I need to see it on this scale. I find it, almost impossible, at least for me, to think about it small scale like it's in cartoons. So I keep coming at it as if it's changeable, and it is to a certain extent. I mean, I could, and I might still, cut these figures away from their field. It's much more difficult, I guess, in pastel than it would be in graphite, and I do that in graphite all the time. The difficulty in this is that it's powder, and so it's much more fragile. But I'm looking at pushing the room back and making it more of a night scene. My initial thoughts were, it might be both day and night in the same, almost like an episodic narrative. And I haven't completely negated that, but I'm thinking I really need the ceiling to kind of bend around those two panels, and I need the lighting, even though it changes in those two panels, to connect. So there's a shift going on from panel 2 to 3. And I need to just kind of understand that better. In the furthest panel, I'm the least decisive because I'm still kind of situating figures and haven't quite resolved what I want in there. I know the cat's important to me, but certainly the ceiling line has to change. It's much too cramped up in that corner. So I'll lift that diagonal. In the second panel, I'm thinking a figure is still going to go in there. I blocked myself back out, took out most of the chair, but I think I'll put a figure back in that space still. And I do think the shadows and the kind of strangeness of the environment is going to help lift us off the bottom, which is relatively heavy with the weight of the figure in that lower right corner. And then in the third panel, I'm adjusting the red figure. She's changed scale a little bit to sit with the second panel, I guess, a little bit better. Still making, I keep looking at the fox and the figure beneath and trying to decide how much of the fox I want in there, how much I'm going to let go of. It's a preoccupation because I want there to be, I don't know what quite the word is. I want an energy to be spirit-filled without necessarily having the full animal there. So I have to think about that further too. And then in the fourth panel, it's somewhat resolved, but clearly I have to push the darks further, and I have to make decisions about whether there are more figures in there or not. The more I do to the whole, the more kind of overlapping in energy that I see going forward. It's helpful. Once I start putting the ceiling frames in a little bit more, it'll be a little clearer as well. But this is where I'm at for now.